Sekou Biddle. I'm a native Washingtonian and currently serve on the DC State Board of Education. I've been on the board for the last 3.5 years. I was recently elected to represent wards 3 and 4 in 2007 when we were a hybrid, half elected, half appointed board. And I was re-elected in 2008 to represent Ward 4. As I said, as a native Washingtonian and graduate of DC Public Schools, I've spent my entire career in service and particularly in public education. I'm running for this appointment because in my career I've been able to enhance and improve and increase opportunities for young people, young children, and in particular in low-income communities. And I'm convinced that I can bring my skills, my knowledge, my know-how to increase opportunities for district residents across the city. I grew up in Columbia Heights, and to be perfectly honest with you, when I lived in Columbia Heights, it was a very different community than it is today. As that community grew and developed, my wife and I have effectively been priced out of that neighborhood and had to live somewhere other than where I grew up. And what I'm concerned about is we have to grow the district in a way that we can create prosperous, safe neighborhoods that sustain and support families in a way that families can continue to be a part of that progress. So I'd love to have your support, and I'd love to give you opportunities to learn more about me along the way. Thank you, and once again, my name is Sekou Biddle.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Biddle?
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I want to give praise to my God for allowing me to be here. I'm on the State Board of Education for Ward 7. I'm also a grandparent and a foster parent for over 6 years. I'm been an ANC commissioner for 17 and 17 for 12 years. I'm responsible for the Benning Road Library, and also the Dingwood Recreation Center. I'm a native Washingtonian. I graduated from UDC. I went to school for 10 years part-time before I got my graduation, my degree in elementary ed. And I'm here to serve. The most important part, we need employment, we need jobs, and we talked about youth that's homeless. We have over 2,000 homeless people in the District of Columbia that need services and houses. We need, unemployment is so high that we definitely want to have services for our young people and for our seniors. We need to reach out and care and connect to our citizens and to our youth, and make sure we have a safe neighborhood, make sure that we have the proper employment for our youth, and also want to be sure that everything that's available and high quality education that's so important for our young people and for being prepared for the competing for the 21st century. So I just want to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak, and if I'm here to serve and any other things that you need me to focus on, I'll be more than happy to do so. And I'm also on the Marshall Heights Community Board as well. And also I'm with the Kidney Funds as well, so I wear many, many hats. And I just want to say thank you for giving this opportunity to be here to speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also to the committee for inviting me. My name is Myla Moss. I currently serve as the Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner for Historic LaDroit Park, which is the birthplace of Black intelligentsia. I am honored and privileged to serve. I am an advocate for health care legislation, which is my day job. And I also serve on the Howard Theater Restoration Board. I grew up in politics, starting with working with Louis Stokes in his campaign as a teenager. I've worked on Capitol Hill with the Select Committee on Children, Youth, and Families. Also, I was the director of the Congressional PAGE program, and I worked 2 years on the Obama health care legislation in my day life. So I craft legislation for a living. I am wanting to expand my service and work to improve jobs in Washington. That is one of my major platforms, is to increase jobs in the city. And the other platform I have is housing. We need more affordable housing in the district. I have done a myriad of things with the Department of Transportation with DCRA in my role as ANC. And I am delighted to be here, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you.
5 Democrats and all invited guests, and since I have this opportunity, I also want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving, which is just a few days away. As indicated, my name is Vincent Orange. I am the National Democratic Committee man. I was elected in 2008 with approximately 22,000 votes, and had a great time serving as a National Committee man and working with this great body. I'm seeking the at-large vacancy through the DC Democratic State Committee process. I'm running to really get back to the council to continue the work that I started when I was here representing Ward 5. I think I have an eight-year track record. As many of you know, I've worked with a lot of you here to bring Home Depot and Giant and the rest of the development right down the street, reopened McKinley Technology High School, brought public access television to Ward 5, worked with a lot of you to bring DC Emancipation Day to celebrate our history in the District of Columbia. We're facing tough financial times in the District of Columbia. When I was on the council before, we had a $518 million deficit. When I left, we had $1.5 billion in the bank. I think we need to get financial expertise back on the council. We need to get our people to work. There's a lot of opportunity in the District of Columbia, but it means nothing if our citizens are not able to work. So thank you very much for providing me this opportunity. Looks like I got 30 more seconds. I also have a couple of bills that I got passed that have not been implemented, such as the living wage. Everyone that's working on a DC job is supposed to be making a minimum of $12.10. That has not been implemented. First Source program requires that any project in the District of Columbia that has DC dollars must have 51% hires coming from the District of Columbia. So I want to be the watchdog on those projects, help us get back into the black and move forward and represent the entire Washington, DC. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me out here, and I also want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving that's coming up this Thursday. I'm running for the position to fill the vacancy that is being left by Kwame Brown through the democratic process. I live in Ward 8. I am the Ward 8 Democrats president at the current time. I've lived in Ward 8 for the last 15 years. Prior to that, I was in the military, and I still am in the military. I am an E8, which is a senior master sergeant in the Air Force. Worked my way through school, and I was last stationed at Andrews Air Force Base. Currently, I'm working on my doctorate at Northeastern University. I go back and forth up there to finish up my doctorate, and that's in law and policy. And one of the things that I'm focusing on is the Housing Finance Agency, because I serve as their vice chair at the current time. And one of the programs that we're trying to really focus on that affects your community is that we're about to put $20 million into wards 5, 7, and 8, who have been hit the hardest by unemployment and people who are losing their homes. So what we're going to try to do is stymie the people losing their homes in foreclosures. And any person who is out of work, they can get assistance through the Housing Finance Agency. And that's a program that I went and seeked out and made sure that the Housing Finance will put that there in place for people who are in this economic times. I think you want a candidate who is actually doing things, have done things for the city, around the city, across the city, as opposed to someone who is going to tell you what they're going to do. I also work with the Higher Achievement Program that puts our kids in some of the highest achieving schools throughout the city. Also work with Levine School of Music, which also has given instructions to our kids across the city. So I've worked in community, worked in Mayor Williams' campaign, and also on his administration as a community affairs coordinator for Ward 8. I have a long history of service throughout the whole city, and I think I've proven myself throughout the whole city, but I also care about Ward 5. So I thank you for the opportunity to be in front of you, and I hope that I can serve you even better. So thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. My name is Kelvin Robinson, and I'm a candidate for the Democratic appointment for the at-large position by the State Democratic Party. I'm running primarily to work on 4 major issues. With a background as the Chief of Staff to Mayor Williams, served as his longest-serving Chief of Staff for 3 years. As an ANC Commissioner, serving in our communities, working on issues that affect the quality of life in our neighborhoods, working on job creation. Also working to ensure that we have proper oversight of our district budget. I think I'm the only candidate here that's had experience on the executive side of the government, making certain that I chaired the budget committee for the district the 3 years I was there, along with the city administrator, to create a balanced budget every 3 of those years that we were there. And so I'm running to make certain that we have an opportunity to get back to fiscal responsibility, to make certain we put some folks to work. We have more jobs and we have people qualified to take them. And quite frankly, what we need to do is get to the business now of ensuring that we're training our district residents to take those great jobs that we have in our district. One of the ways that we can do that is by creating what we should have created back in 87, and that is a certificate of employability. What that program will do is provide an opportunity for us to train our district residents, give them a certificate, and then provide that certificate to them so that they can go to employers and say, hey, I'm ready to go to work. That is one thing that we can do now that put us on equal footing with Maryland. When I was running before, I noted that one of the things that was happening was we had folks from Maryland and Virginia coming down renovating our schools. Those are good district jobs. We should have them and keep them here. And then finally, working to do something about juvenile crime. It is something that I think we need to spend a great deal of time on, and I really thank you and hope that you'll vote for me when the time comes in May.